The story begins in a small town, where a family is excited for their son Arl's big day. His father says he's eager to find out what class Arl would get. His mother admits she's more nervous for him, and his sister says she has the best brother she could ask for. However, Arl is not interested in the discussion. It is revealed that in this world everyone is blessed by the goddess with a class. When a child turns 10, they take part in a ritual to find which class they belong to. After breakfast, they go to the church to take part in the ceremony. The priest asks the children to come forward one by one. A boy approaches him, and the priest reveals that the boy will become a blacksmith like his father, which makes them happy. As the ritual continues, Arl's sister explains that family lineage can influence their class. When his turn comes, the crowd recognizes him as the son of two legendary heroes, Farah and Leon. However, the priest is stunned that he can't see anything, which means he's classless, leaving everyone shocked. Despite this, Arl continues training at home. His parents tell him he doesn't need to force himself to find a job since they can support him, and his sister promises she'll always have his back. He explains that he isn't depressed about the situation and that he has been learning swordsmanship from his mother since he was little. Although he knows he cannot become a skilled warrior, his hard work can still make him stronger. They are impressed by his determination and say he'll do great things in the future. He decides to head to the practice field. There, he overhears two boys talking about how much their swordsmanship skills have improved thanks to their classes. When they notice Arl, they ask what he's doing here. He says he came to train like everyone else, and they decide to show him how skilled swordsmen fight. He explains that the first thing a swordsman learns is the basic technique, and just having that makes someone a capable fighter. He asks if they would spar with him. One of the boys laughs, saying Arl doesn't stand a chance, but he disagrees. The boy then asks whether he at least has divine protection despite being classless. Divine protection is another blessing granted by the goddess at their birth. It is like a transparent shield that protects the body and absorbs damage. Though it weakens after multiple hits, Arl says he'll be fine. The boy says he won't die then. But Arl tells him to get ready to lose, so the boy angrily charges. Arl easily blocks it. As the duel continues, the boy struggles to defeat Arl, so he tells his friend to attack Arl from behind. Arl easily dodges. He notes that he likes a challenge, though they're not as skilled as they say. He then charges ahead and knocks one of them out, while the other trips over him. Arl says he won, but the boys argue that he attacked while they were distracted and ask for another round. Suddenly, a red-haired boy arrives and says nobody gets a second chance on a battlefield. One of the boys tells him to mind his own business, while the other tells his friend to shut up because he's the son of the head of the guards. Then the red-haired boy approaches Arl and explains that as the son of Sword Princess Farah, he must have inherited some of her talent, which makes him better than the two other boys. The boy challenges Arl to a duel. He introduces himself as the son of Captain Evans, the head guard. Arl recognizes Evans as someone who often visited his mother for help, though he notes they don't look alike. The boy explains that while his father is an excellent warrior, Arl's mother is considered the #1 swordsman in the village, which he doesn't like. Arl asks if he dislikes him because his mother is stronger. The boy says that by defeating him, he'll prove that his family is superior. He further adds that due to his father's training, he has already mastered intermediate skills, and there's no way Arl could defeat him. Arl says that his mother trained him as well, and that he has no intention of losing. The duel begins. They give each other strong competition. The other boys wonder whether Arl is truly classless because he's keeping up with someone with intermediate skills. Arl says that the boy is stronger than the others, but his anger is making him sloppy, so he decides to wait for an opening. When he charges in, the boy immediately uses the twin blade slice to defeat Arl. The boy is impressed that he still managed to block one of the strikes. He explains that the technique allows him to unleash 2 slashes in a single swing, and someone without a class would never be able to defeat him. A few days later, Arl's sister tries to wake him up with a kiss, but he suddenly gets up and accidentally headbutts her. She immediately becomes angry and demands an apology. After that, they head into the kitchen, where Farah greets them and finishes setting the table. During breakfast, his sister asks whether he's leaving for his special training again. When he says yes, she says that he doesn't need to work so hard. Still, he heads out. She worries because he has been staying out late ever since his defeat, but Farah assures her that he'll be fine. Then Farah shows her a box filled with broken swords. She explains that these are the practice swords Arl has been using every day. Arl's sister is amazed that despite being classless, he refuses to give up. Even so, she wishes to make a kinder world for him. Meanwhile, Arl trains in the forest. After countless tries, he finally succeeds in learning twin blade slice. Suddenly, a goblin attacks him from behind. Arl uses his newly learned technique to defeat it. Then he hears a roar from the forest. His first thought is to warn the guards. However, he then hears a boy scream. Realizing that someone is in danger, he decides to rush in instead. Walking quietly through the trees, he spots the injured red-haired boy he fought that day, and the enemy turns out to be a hobgoblin. He also notices that the boy is training alone, just like he has, which must have attracted the monsters. He prepares a strategy to fight the monster. Taking a deep breath, he strikes it from behind and kills it instantly. He notes that timing is everything. The red-haired boy passes out, but he catches him and realizes his divine protection is out. When he notices the boy's holy water bottle destroyed, Arl offers his own, which instantly heals him. The boy angrily demands to know what technique Arl used to kill the monster. When Arl replies, "Twin blade slice," he refuses to believe him because it's an advanced technique that only skilled swordsmen can learn. Arl agrees that it is difficult, which is exactly why he trained so hard to master it. He explains that anyone can do it if they have enough strength, speed, and proper timing. Arl then admits that the boy himself is the whole reason he learned it in the first place. Since he used it to defeat him, the red-haired boy is confused about how he learned the technique so quickly. So the boy suggests a rematch to repay him for saving his life and sharing his holy water. As they duel, both of them use twin blade slice at the same time, which cancel each other out. However, Arl follows up with a third strike and lands a hit, which makes him furious. Arl explains that since he doesn't have a class, he isn't restricted by class-based techniques and can freely modify his attacks. The boy can't believe that Arl can use twin blade slice, and it makes no sense that his technique is stronger than one from a real swordsman. So Arl asks if he would like to go again, and the boy agrees. The boy states that he can't lose because he learned the blade from his father, at least not to a classless loser. As they go again, he again gets hit by the third hit, knocking him to the ground. He asks why Arl's sword suddenly became faster and wonders if he had been holding back earlier. Arl refuses, saying he's better because of him. He admits that seeing his attack again, he just improved his swing a little. Then Arl walks away, saying he won. A few days later, Farah tells him that Evan's child left for Brescia today. He knows it's the red-haired boy and asks what that is. She explains that it is the famous city of swords, where she worked before getting married. He also wishes to go there one day to see how strong he can become, even without a class. Next, a carriage full of travelers is on its way to Brescia. Everyone is excited to reach the city of dreams for the swordsman. One woman says she wants to become a dual swordsman. A man immediately says he can't stand people who wear flashy outfits like hers. The driver tries to calm them down, saying both of them are amazing, and asks them to show their abilities since a horde of orcs is blocking the road ahead. Both of them freak out. Another woman begs the man to save her and her child, but he says he wants to stay alive and runs away, with the swordswoman following right after him. The driver tells everyone to flee, but Arl rushes forward and starts fighting the monsters. The others are amazed to see him moving so fast, and the driver wonders what he plans to do when he gets surrounded by the orcs. Suddenly, Arl begins spinning, slicing through the monsters around him. The driver recognizes the technique as blade dance, a rare and powerful skill, which only the sword princess class can use. After defeating the smaller orcs, Arl jumps in the air and drives his sword into the orc king's head, which appears to be fatal. The driver can't believe Arl managed to take down all the orcs alone. After that, Arl tells the driver they can continue to Brescia. The child calls him amazing and asks which class he belongs to. Arl replies that he's classless, which shocks everyone. The story flashes back 5 years earlier when Arl performs twin blade slice in front of Farah. She first assumes she must be dreaming and begins crying, blaming herself for still struggling to accept that her son is classless. Arl reassures her that it's not a dream and that he actually learned the skill after a lot of practice. She's speechless when he tells her he wants to travel to Brescia and see how strong he can get. She snaps out of her shock and shouts that he's a true prodigy. Back in the present, the driver wakes him up to inform him that they've arrived at the City of Swords. Looking around, they notice swordsmen everywhere. Arl asks the driver what class he belongs to. He initially claims he's just a driver. Arl points out that an ordinary driver shouldn't be able to identify swordsmen's skills on the spot. The driver admits that he belongs to the Advanced Holy Knight class. Before leaving, he advises Arl to register with a guild so he can take part in battle tournaments and earn rewards. Arl replies that he's here to fight the strongest warriors. The driver warns him to be careful, as life in the city won't be easy. As Arl enters the city, he hears many recruiters from various guilds. Some guilds specialize in nightly combat, while others focus on hunting. A blonde girl tries to sneak up behind him, but he turns around at the last second, causing her to fall down. She's impressed that he sensed her without even looking back. The girl asks if he's new to the city and looking to join a guild. When he says that he is, she says that her guild is recruiting new members and presents an enrollment contract, but he immediately refuses and walks away. The girl stubbornly follows him. He refuses again, assuming her guild must be a small and desperate for new numbers. She insists that isn't the case and even offers to go on a date with him if he joins. But he says he's not at all interested and notes that her attitude reminds him of her annoying sister. Instead, he asks which guild is most powerful in the city. She calls him rude and says it's Black Blade, a guild with 8 rank swordsmen. He immediately heads toward their home base. At the entrance, he tells a guard that he wants to join Black Blade. The guard tells him to go to the reception, where applicants must register for an entrance test. Inside, he waits in a long line of candidates. When his turn arrives, the receptionist asks for his class. He replies that he's classless, which makes the receptionist laugh and tells him to leave. He argues that he's confident he can pass any test they give him, but the receptionist refuses, saying rules are rules. At that moment, 3 rank adventurers enter the room and attract everyone's attention. Arl continues visiting other guilds, but all of them reject him because he's classless. Eventually, he pulls out a recommendation letter his mother gave him in the hope that her old guild would help him. Suddenly, the blonde girl appears again and asks him to join her guild. He tells her to give up, yet she refuses to stop following him. She explains that her guild desperately needs members and will be disbanded if they fail to recruit anyone. She begs him, and even offers to lick his shoes if he agrees to join, but he has already left. She refuses to give up. While searching for the address written on the letter, the girl finds him again. He tells her to look for someone else, but she points out that they're standing in front of her guild. She reveals that her guild dragon Fang is going through a tough time, but she's sure they're going to reclaim their glory. He remembers that her mother told him the guild she was in was led by the Dual Sword King, who named it after his skill, Dragon Fang. Realizing this, Arl decides to head inside. There, they encounter a drunk man who turns out to be the girl's father. Arl notices that he's missing an arm. The man tells him to leave, saying this guild is doomed, and walks away. The girl explains that his father was once one of the 2 strongest swordsmen in Brescia. She says she'll understand if he doesn't want to join them, but he says he wants to. After filling out the contract, she notices that he's classless and assumes he's joking, but he shows her the proof that he's not lying. Then she loses her mind and starts shouting that no guild can survive with a classless member and even threatens to kill him if he doesn't cancel the contract. At that moment, a red-haired girl enters the room and asks why she's screaming. The blonde girl immediately hugs her and explains that she found a recruit, but he's classless. The red-haired girl Reiner asks why he's here, but he doesn't recognize her. Reiner explains that they grew up in the same village and used to train together. Arl says he would have remembered someone as beautiful as her, which embarrasses her. He then recalls sparring with a red-haired boy, the son of Captain Evans. She reveals that Evans had only a daughter, and that she's that boy. He apologizes for not realizing it sooner, while she admits that she looks different now. Lilia, the blonde girl, asks if he's the same classless guy she told her about. Reiner confirms it. She then says she won't lose to him anymore and challenges him to a duel for old time's sake. The two head to the training grounds. Reiner says she must defeat him this time, while Lilia tells her to be careful. As the duel begins, she starts with the twin blade slice. He notes she's still using the same opening from 5 years ago, so he uses the same, but this time her attack actually hits him. He wonders why, and she explains that she has become much stronger. She reveals that her power bladesman skill, brute strength, increases her power. She confidently says that he cannot defeat her with old moves. She charges in again. Arl blocks it and admits she has clearly trained hard. He slides back and admits she might beat him if she keeps hitting him, but he says she's still not fast enough. When she attacks again, she actually stabs him, but it was only an afterimage and he appears behind her and strikes her. She is stunned and certain that she hit him, so he says that she only hit his afterimage. She asks how he can use such an advanced skill without a class. She starts swinging repeatedly, and he replies that he learned how to move really fast. Again and again she falls for the same trick, yet despite being hit, her divine protection remains intact. She charges again, and this time, he uses her mother's famous counter skill to defeat her. She can't believe she lost again after training so hard, and he admits that she got stronger, but he became even stronger. Lilia rushes over with holy water and yells at him for making Reiner cry. Reiner immediately denies that she's crying and runs away. Later, Lilia officially welcomes him to Dragon Fang. She says they're lucky to have him, but he reminds her that she threatened to kill him. She jokes that it was her afterimage. He then gets serious and asks why this guild is screwed. She explains that the guild is in huge debt. Their only hope is to participate in the upcoming guild competition to earn enough money to repay their loans, as they finally have the minimum 3 members required to enter. She also reveals that when Reiner first arrived in Brescia, all the guilds rejected her because she was just a child, so Lilia's father welcomed her into Dragon Fang, and ever since then, he has been loyal to the guild. Arl remarks that she has always been an honorable person. She says she's still worried because their 3-person team will have to compete against guilds with 5 members. He says it sounds fun. After all, fighting powerful opponents and improving his techniques is the entire reason he came here. As they talk, Lilia's father quietly watches from outside the room, then he silently walks away. The next day, he wakes up in a room and says that he's a member of the same guild her mother once was. He joins the girls in the living room and realizes Reiner is still upset about losing again. Lilia is excited that they can now enter the guild competitions. She explains that the competition is a 1-on-1 elimination style match, and the guild with no members left loses. Reiner says the fights will be difficult. Lilia adds that they'll be paired according to their ranks. She explains that there are 4 ranks, A to D, and she and Reiner are B rankers, and since he defeated Reiner, she assumes he must be a B ranker. She thinks that as long as they don't fight against an A-rank fighter. Then Reiner decides to start training. He stops him and asks what skill she has aside from brute strength. She says that her gut skill makes her divine protection last longer. Then he approaches her and asks if she can hit him with her sword, but she refuses. He explains that he wants her to hit him because he wants to gain the gut skill and to learn that the most effective way is to get beaten up. She says that skills are a blessing from the goddess, not something he can just choose, but he argues that he learned twin blade slice and shadow skill, which makes her think. Then they head to the practice area, and she tells him that her sword is 5 times heavier than a normal one, and he won't be able to swing it. But he surprises her again by pointing it at her. He says that he has more than brute strength, and he learned advanced skills by practicing daily. She apologizes for misjudging him again, and says that if they make efforts, everything is achievable. She agrees to help her with his training, and says that she won't hold back while hitting him. Meanwhile, a panicked Lilia rushes to the practice area and says that she has some horrible news, that they have to fight against the current top guild, Black Blade. Even so, she is determined that they have to win and work together as a team. She also asks why Reiner is taking out her stress on the newbie, but Reiner says that they're just doing a special training. When the guild competition day arrives, they head to the arena, where they overhear people talking about betting on Black Blade to crush Dragon Fang, which makes Lilia angry. Arl asks if they can bet, and Reiner says that betting on all the matches of the competition can be gambled upon. Lilia says that no one expects them to win, which is why they can't afford to lose, though she adds that it is a perfect chance to get rich. She also says that she took another loan using their home base as collateral and bet the whole amount on them winning, and they can't afford to lose now. Suddenly, a man laughs at her and says that she's doing her best to sustain her father's guild by recruiting classless members. She asks if he's here to mock them, but he says that he's here to cheer because her guild is having a hard time. When Arl asks about him, Reiner explains that he's Georg, the guild boss of Black Blade. Georg says that having a battle between an old and new guild will put them in the spotlight, and that's why he used his influence to put their guild against each other. She says that they'll win, but he mocks them, saying only if they can defeat their A-rank swordsman. Reiner notes that Georg is only here to obliterate their guild today. Soon, the competition begins with the battle between Black Blade and Dragon Fang. Arl wonders if their opponent is going easy on them since Georg is not participating, but the girls explain that their entire team consists of A-rankers and they are going all out. He then hopes to see some interesting skills. Then the announcer calls Gio from the Black Blade to fight against the classless Arl in the first round. Gio is not at all interested in fighting a classless guy. When the announcer tells them to begin, Gio uses Blink Dash to quickly stab Arl, but it turns out to be an afterimage. Gio realizes Arl is using shadow skill and attacks him, but it too is an afterimage. Then Arl creates multiple afterimages at the same time. Gio doesn't think it'll be a problem, because he can move fast and kill them all, only to get stabbed by the real Arl. Gio falls to the ground and classless Arl is declared the winner. Lilia and Reiner can't believe that he defeated Gio so easily. The crowd wonders if Arl is really classless and how he defeated an A-rank swordsman, while Arl is ready for the next round. In the second match, Arl uses his twin blade slice attack to defeat his opponent. In the third match, as his opponent tries to kick him, he creates an afterimage and defeats him by striking him from behind. Reiner is amazed that he easily defeated 3 rankers, and Lilia thinks he can pull the amazing feat. She decides to cheer him because she can't defeat them himself. As they begin cheering, Arl fights a bulky opponent with a shield. He tells Arl to stop lying that he's classless. Arl points out that shield swordsmen are tough to beat and says that he has worked hard to get stronger. But the man says that hard work won't take him very far without skills. He charges ahead with his shield bash attack. But Arl uses his mother's foresight skill to kick the shield down. He also reveals that he used the kick technique he learned from the previous opponent and uses it again to strike him in the stomach. Then Arl picks up the shield and moves forward. When his opponent attacks Arl, he uses his speed to dodge and then uses the shield bash technique to knock the fighter down. As Arl wins another match, the audience calls him a liar for not revealing his class. To calm them down, the announcer shows Arl's identity card in front of a crystal ball to project it on a big screen that says he's classless. Lilia confronts Reiner that she should have told her that Arl is this strong, so she could take a larger loan and maximize their bet. Reiner admits that she didn't know it herself. Lilia also plans to marry Errol to keep the guild going. For the final match, the Black Blade sends Master Swordsman Masamune to face Errol. Masamune is an advanced class samurai with a katana. Before Masamune can draw his sword, Errol senses danger, so he decides to be careful. Realizing Masamune is waiting for him to approach him, he slowly steps ahead, putting his life in danger to see his ultimate skill. When Arl comes within his range, he pulls out his sword and attacks him, but Arl is faster and disappears. Arl is behind him, says that Masamune is the fastest he has seen in this city, but he trained with his mother who is even faster than him. Arl then uses Piercing Tempest to stab him multiple times, another skill of his mother, to defeat him. With this, the battle between the former and current top guilds has been won by Dragon Fang in a clean sweep. The girls happily celebrate the win. When Arl steps down, Lilia jumps towards him for a hug, but he dodges it. He apologizes to her for getting hurt, but she doesn't mind because they earn a lot of money. Meanwhile, a furious Jared plans to take revenge on him. That night they celebrate their big win by having a feast back at the guild. Lilia asks Errol to marry him, though he refuses, saying he would rather marry someone like Reiner. Renier tells him to come up with a better excuse since only a few days ago he thought she was a boy. She also adds that her goal is to become the strongest swordsman, so she has no time for romance. Not willing to give up, Lilia tries another approach and offers him a massage, but he replies that Reiner should be the one giving it. Later, he and Reiner continue their training. She worries that she might injure him, but he insists that taking hits is the best way to learn the gut skill. The noise wakes Lilia's father Rod, who comes downstairs and asks if they are training so hard because they lost the competition. When Lilia proudly tells him they defeated Black Blade in every match, he assumes they must have sent their newbies, but she explains that all were rankers and Arl defeated them alone. She also reveals that they made enough money through betting to keep the guild alive. Even so, he argues that if Arl is that strong, another guild can poach him with a better offer and calls this newfound hope pointless. Just then, Arl says that while Lilia may be an idiot, she's still far better than people who give up and refuse to do anything. Arl then points out that he can still hold a sword with one arm. He angrily replies that if a dual swordsman cannot wield 2 swords, his skills become useless. But Arl refuses to believe that since he is classless without any special skills. He then quietly walks away. Lilia thanks him, believing his words may have encouraged her father. Reiner agrees, saying Rod is an amazing person who just needs to rediscover his passion. Arl adds that he can learn a lot from him. Lilia suggests he explore the dungeon since it's filled with monsters, traps, and opportunities for training. Reiner volunteers to go with him because they have to prepare for the upcoming Sword God Cup, a tournament to find out the strongest swordsman. Lilith hands him a form to sign for the tournament, but he tears it apart since it's a marriage certificate and then puts her in a chokehold to teach her a lesson. Elsewhere, a hooded figure spies on them through a magic glass and reports to Georg that they are going to the dungeon, so he plans to do something bad. The next morning, Arl wakes up to find Lilia trying to kiss him, but he stops her and ties her to the bed before leaving the room. He knocks on Reiner's door to ask her to deal with Lilia. Instead, he finds her asleep and talking in her sleep. At the same time, hearing Lilia shouting, Rod enters Arl's room and scolds her for behaving so shamelessly. Later, they head towards the dungeon, where a large crowd of swordsmen is waiting to use the transportation portals to reach the floor they want. Since it is Arl's first time, he cannot go to the deeper levels, so Lilia offers to guide him personally, but he insists that all 3 of them explore together. As they enter, they encounter several living armors. Arl engages one of them and is surprised by how quickly it moves, despite wearing heavy armor, and chops off its head, but to his surprise, it continues to move. Reiner explains that they're empty suits of armor that can move using the dungeon magic, so he targets its legs instead and successfully destroys it while Reiner takes down the other one. Though she adds that these armors can regenerate over time, Arl thinks they're perfect for training. Then he asks Lilia what her class is, and she reveals she's a fencer, and offers to teach him some of her skills, but he calls her useless and walks away. Next, the entrance to the next floor, they see a man covered in blood. The man explains that he got injured by a trap in a secret room. Reiner suggests taking him back to the surface, but he says his friends are still inside and asks for their help to rescue them. Lilia immediately asks how much he's willing to pay in exchange, saying nothing is free in this world. The man recognizes Lilia from an article describing her as a spoiled girl, which instantly offends her and she refuses to help. But when he offers her a pouch of gold coins, she immediately agrees. Arl finds it suspicious that the man is covered in too much blood, but Lilia says they have the money. They follows him to the room. Although Errol still suspects the man of faking his injuries, he is excited to see what his plan is. The man leads them to the hidden room, where there are no injured men inside, only a pool of blood. Lilia spots a gold coin on the floor, and when she goes to pick it up, a teleportation trap activates. The man reveals that he was paid to lead them here, but he too gets teleported with them to a floor with no exits. Reiner says she has never seen it before, meaning they're below the 14th floor, but there are no enemies yet. Suddenly, a secret door opens with a bright light, and then a rainbow armor steps into the room. The man explains they're on the lowest floor of the dungeon, where the sword god can be found. Arl tells them to get down as the armor attacks with a powerful air slash that destroys the dungeon wall. Then the knight directly attacks Arl and pins him against a wall. Ariel manages to block it and realizes his gut skill is working since the attack hardly used up his divine protection and swings back. But the armor is faster. He thinks it's the perfect chance to test his skills and begins attacking the monster. Others are stunned when they notice he's using the same divine technique as the sword god. Suddenly, it uses a pressure attack that forces everyone to their knees, except Arl is easily standing since he has faced it before while training with his mother. Back then, she explained that after freezing your opponent, follow up with a powerful strike. Even though he managed to stand, he couldn't stop her attack. This time is different. He nullifies the attack by slicing a gold coin in front of the knight and then strikes it with a powerful infinite break, which shatters the knight. Everyone in the room is shocked. After the battle, Reiner asks how he knows sword god techniques. He reveals that his mother is a sword god. She says she never would have challenged him if she'd known that, but he replies that sparring with her was the best thing that happened to him. Then a teleportation spell activates so they can return to the surface. Meanwhile, in a bar, Rod is drinking when he overhears three men discussing how they were paid to lure the members of the dragon Fang into a trap. Rod immediately smashes the table and asks for more information, but Georg interrupts him, telling him to stop. Rod realizes he was behind it, but he says Lilia and her friends entered a dangerous hidden room in the dungeon. Rod angrily charges at him, but he steps away, causing him to fall. Just then, the three of them enter the bar. Rod immediately hugs Lilia, relieved to see her alive. Georg says it is impossible that nobody is strong enough to defeat a sword god. They reveal that the man he hired confessed that Georg was the mastermind behind it. But he says what happens inside a dungeon stays inside a dungeon and walks away. Back at home, he destroys his room in frustration. He admits that his dream has always been to be the strongest swordsman, but now a classless nobody threatens everything he worked for. Suddenly, a mysterious sword appears behind him and says that it will help him achieve his goal. Next, Lilia reads a letter containing the preliminary tournament brackets, and immediately freaks out when she discovers that she's in the same bracket as Arl. She loses hope of qualifying for the main event, though Arl points out that with her current skill level, she wouldn't have reached the tournament. When Reiner reads it, she finds herself in a different bracket, but there are still tough opponents, so she starts praying that she can pass the preliminaries. Lilia decides not to give up and suggests heading to the dungeon for training. Arl asks if he has to go, to which she replies that she needs him to save her from danger. Just then, Rod comes in and tells her to be careful since nobody knows what kind of traps Georg has set up this time. Seeing him scared, she agrees to stay alert and leaves. Rod then turns to Arl and says it's not too late for him to get his life together and be a protective father and swordsman. Soon the day of the preliminary round arrives. The people are excited to see their favorite fighters in action. As the matches progress, many participants are eliminated, including Lilia. Lilia is sad that she couldn't even make it past the first round, but Arl points out that she was bound to lose because they were in the same bracket. She pulls herself together and tells him to keep his guard up because his next opponent has some unique skills. But he's not bothered, claiming he has seen everything in the dungeon. She explains that his opponent belongs to the magic swordsman class, allowing her to combine swordsmanship and magic during combat. He wonders why magicians are allowed to compete in a sword tournament, so Lilia clarifies that class doesn't matter as long as someone belongs to a registered guild. When the announcer calls the next match, he heads to the arena. Before the duel begins, his opponent explains that magic swordsmen are a fully accepted class and says she doesn't want any excuses after he loses. He simply replies, "Let the best fighter win." As the match begins, she starts shooting fireballs at him. He manages to dodge every attack and closes in to strike her, but she blocks him and follows up with another fireball, forcing him backward. He notes that she can easily switch between short-range and long-range attacks. Even so, she hasn't mastered either swordsmanship or magic. This makes her furious. She activates a magical fire sword, saying only a true magic swordsman can use this skill, and swings it, causing a wave of fire towards him. Although he manages to deflect it, the flame starts chasing him. He admits that the erratic movements make it difficult to predict. Then he stops moving and starts deflecting it without taking a single step. He remarks that if her basic swordsmanship were even better than Lilia's, she would be far more effective. Finally, he uses Twin Blade Slice to extinguish her flame. Then he uses Blink Dash to appear behind her and strikes her on the head to knock her to the ground. The crowd erupts into cheers as he is declared the winner of the block. He thinks that with some special training, he can also learn magic. A few days later, the main tournament finally arrives. Lilia tries to wake Rod up by saying they need to cheer for Errol, but he refuses to go. When she asks if he's afraid of running into Garrick, he insists that he's not. Instead, he explains that he tried picking up a sword again and discovered how rusty he is, even to win the Sword God Cup. But she tells him to get ready, or she'll drag him there. On their way, she points out that even if he hadn't agreed to come, he probably would have watched it in secret anyway. After all, he had trained Reiner since she was a child and would not miss the opportunity to watch her fight. Meanwhile, inside the arena, Reiner is visibly nervous and gets startled when Arl asks if she's alright. He says he has never seen her this restless, to which she says this is the biggest tournament in the city, and she's nervous. He asks if she's worried about facing him in the first round. She tries to hit him, but he grabs her punch. Just then, the announcer says the first match is between last year's champion Garrick and classless Arl. As he heads to the stage, Reiner grabs his hand and wishes him good luck. Lilia also calls him, telling him to defeat Garrick. However, the moment he sees Garrick, he senses something is wrong as he looks like a demon. Rod immediately recognizes the sword he's holding. It has a powerful demon inside it and tells Arl to stay away from him. He explains that the sword god used this sword to kill the demon, who got trapped inside and should have remained sealed in the royal repository. But he doesn't know how it got here. The demon says the seal kept him for hundreds of years, but he knew that someone would come to free him. He introduces himself as Durgelda. Reiner recognizes the name from ancient legends. An evil deity summoned a demon in ancient times, and she thought it was just a myth. The crowd starts panicking since it is the same demon that wiped out countless cities and begins to run in fear. The demon can't let anyone escape, so he creates a circular barrier around the arena and locks everyone inside. The demon is enjoying people in fear and chaos. Only Arl remains calm, ready to fight him, even if the demon's out of Errol's league. But Errol is confident he can defeat him. Hearing this, the demon laughs, saying that only a sword god could defeat him, who is no longer alive. But Arl points out that a sword god still exists, which his mother is, and even if he's not a sword god, he can still defeat him. He calls him a fool, but he gets scared as Arl suddenly charges at him. He is shocked that Arl used the Divine Step, a skill only a sword god can use, and wonders how he can do it. As Arl continues attacking, the demon jumps into the air to hit Arl in the shoulder, smashing him to the ground. He assumes it's over, however he's shocked to see Arl still standing without any damage, thanks to his special training with Reiner. Scared, he attacks again, but Arl pushes him back and then uses Infinite Break to create multiple copies of himself that attack from every direction. Struggling to keep up, He realizes that Arl is using the same skills as the sword god. He can't believe that a child is a sword god, but Arl says he's just a classless guy and uses a powerful slash to defeat the demon. Everyone cheers for Arl as he defeats a demon, but he isn't dead yet and decides to retreat to gain full strength. He starts looking for a host body and immediately jumps towards Rod. Arl manages to save Reiner while Rod jumps in front of Lilia. When the dust settles, Rod stands with the cursed sword in hand and gets possessed by the demon. Arl curses himself for not realizing that the sword is his main body, but is sure he can still defeat it, but he points out that he can easily kill Arl's future wife. Arl doesn't think that's going to happen. The demon explains that Rod's memory told him Lilia is his fiancée, but Arl casually says he doesn't care about her and prepares to attack, but Reiner stops him. Confused, he asks Lilia the truth, and she admits that Arl's not her future husband, which makes him realize his mistake. Arl adds that he can't kill her even if he tries. The demon says he would gladly kill a useless girl, which turns out to be true as Rod starts fighting back. The demon tries to tempt Rod, saying he will give him enough power to reclaim his former glory. But Rod says that Arl reminded him that anyone can achieve anything through hard work and throws the sword towards Arl, who easily breaks it into 1,000,000 pieces, killing the demon once and for all. For the next few days, Rod begins training new recruits, but none of them are strong enough. He scolds them for their poor defenses, scaring most of them. Lilia confronts one of them for not putting much effort. He complains that Rod is too strict and then asks where Arl is. She reveals that Arl has already left the guild. She's upset about it because she wanted to marry him. She adds that Reiner has left as well and is chasing after him. Meanwhile, Arl travels back to his hometown using the same carriage from earlier. The driver notes that it's strange for him to leave immediately after winning the Swords God Cup, but he says there was nothing left for him there. Besides, he believes he can finally defeat his mother. When he arrives home, he finds Farah picking flowers. She asks if she should make a bouquet for his return, leaving him surprised that he got caught. She comments that he looks a little different, and he tells her that he won the Sword God Cup, which makes her happy, and she suddenly surprises him with a flower. He says that if this were a sword, he would be dead right now. Then they head to the forest for a sparring match. She charges at him using Divine Step. Although he blocks it, he admits he wouldn't have managed it if he hadn't seen it before. Realizing he has to go on the offensive if he wants to win, he attacks her, but she easily deflects it. He is impressed that she was able to defend without using any skill, which she claims to have learned from him. As they clash again, sparks from their swords are noticed throughout the town, causing people to think it's a monster attack. Next, Arl uses Divine Aerial Leap to approach Farah. She immediately responds with Divine Presence, but it doesn't work on him anymore and blocks it. Both of them charge simultaneously using the Infinite Break. Meanwhile, Reiner arrives at Arl's house and knocks on the door. His younger sister Mira answers, and when she asks about Arl, Mira says he isn't home, adding that he's not interested in fat cows and telling her to leave. Just then, Arl and Farah return. Farah tells Mira not to be rude while he asks Reiner why she's here. Mira jumps onto him and asks why they look beaten up. He says they were sparring, and Farah reveals that she lost and that Arl's very strong. Reiner calls it amazing since he defeated a sword god. However, he thinks it's not a win to celebrate since she's no longer in her prime. Farah says it's a mean thing to say. Once inside, Farah asks how Arl and Reiner first met. Arl explains that they lived together in Brescia, though he doesn't know why she's here. Reiner asks how he could abandon the guild without even saying goodbye. He explains that he had already seen every sword skill in the city, so he decided to move on. Farah says it's sweet that she came this far just to check on him. She then reveals she's from this village and the real reason she's here is to be her student. Suddenly, Captain Evans enters the house seeking Farah's help regarding a monster in the forest. Farah lies that they already killed it earlier. Evans is relieved that the problem is solved and notices Reiner and asks why she's here. Farah replies that she wants to learn how to become a good wife, which immediately becomes emotional, saying she is ready for marriage. Reiner clarifies that she wants swordsman training, not chores lessons. Farah says that she'll teach her both, and Evans thinks it's a great idea, since he's always worried about her future, and thanks Farah for helping her, who promises to turn Reiner a proper lady, so he happily decides to leave. Reiner tries to correct the misunderstanding but nobody listens. Next, Arl visits Leon's office, where he has been researching an ultimate magical technique. He says that he heard Arl has a cute girlfriend now. Arl replies she's beautiful, but he's actually here to ask him to teach him magic, but he refuses, saying it's impossible. Elsewhere, Farah asks Reiner to chop a cabbage. She doesn't know how to, but says she'll handle it. Mira freaks out about how she's holding the knife, and Reiner ends up destroying the table. Mira is crying because her favorite cup gets broken, while Farah realizes she has to teach her everything from the beginning, but she wants to learn swordsmanship. Farah explains that she cannot be a skilled swordswoman unless she can learn to do everyday chores. She admits she's happy to have another daughter around the house after Arl's older sister left, saying she's going to make this world kinder for classless people. Next, Arl helps Leon repair the damaged table, which according to Arl could be easily fixed with magic, but Leon says he enjoys working because his mother likes the same. Afterward, Leon repairs the broken cup using magic. Even so, he still believes learning magic will be difficult for him, since not everyone possesses enough mana to cast spells. While looking at Arl's collection of old training swords, he comments on how hardworking his son has always been. Errol believes he must have mana and reveals that one day during his training, he needed holy water to heal himself, but the guild can't afford it, so Lilia brought some bottles from the warehouse, but she's not sure if it's poison or medicine, yet he drank them anyway, and remembers he could feel something healing him from inside. Leon says that if he truly sensed mana back then, he could teach him. He then tells him to focus his mana into a single point in his palm. When he tries it, he creates a tiny flash of light, which is proof that he possesses mana. Arl asks how he can increase it, and Leon replies that like he practices swordsmanship, he has to work on improving his mana over time. He's glad to hear that before passing out due to exhaustion, Leon admits he'll never give up on his son. The next day, Arl visits a potion shop to buy mana potions and starts training. After 6 months of effort, he increases his mana to that of a spellcaster. However, because he doesn't have a magic skill, he must learn magic scripts and chant spells in his head every time. Arl thinks it can be an issue, so he suggests that he go to the Magic Academy in the City of Magic to learn the basics. Later, they all sit for lunch and enjoy soup prepared by Reiner. Farah says she has gotten better in both cooking and swordsmanship. Seeing all of them getting along, Reiner wishes her family could have been like this if her mother were still alive. Using magic, Leon creates multiple glowing birds that circle the table. Arl declares he's going to become stronger. 3 years have passed since Arl and Reiner returned home. Reiner has been training under Farah, and she finally learns how to make a proper cup of tea. Suddenly, Mira enters the room in tears. She reveals that when she went to wake Arl up, she found a note saying that he had left for the City of Magic. Farah tries to comfort her, saying that he should have at least said goodbye. Reiner agrees and admits she did the same thing but never realized how much it hurts. Farah says that first her daughter left and now her son, and wonders how they both became so free-spirited. She hopes they stay healthy and hugs Reiner, telling her not to leave her like that. Meanwhile, Arl is on his way to the City of Magic in the same carriage he used before. The driver notes that Arl has changed a lot since the last time they met. A red-haired boy asks Arl if he's heading to the Academy of Magic. When he confirms it, the boy points out that he looks older than the other children. A blue-haired girl suggests he must have failed the entrance exam multiple times and scolds him for making fun of someone who is trying to overcome his shortcomings. And the two begin arguing. The green-haired girl, Colette, tries to stop them, but they don't listen, while Arl notes that they must have recently received their blessings. The boy introduces himself as Kaito, a red magic user, and asks about his magical aptitude. Arl remembers a conversation with Leon about 6 types of magic: black, white, yellow, green, blue, and red. Since Arl didn't have an aptitude, they decided to try every type instead. Back in the present, he reveals he doesn't have any, because he's classless. The blue-haired girl assumes he's joking, since no classless person would ever attempt to enter the academy, but he shows his ID to prove that he is telling the truth. They can't believe it and ask if he's out of his mind. Suddenly, they hear a loud voice and get scared. Arl identifies it as a troll king roaring from the forest, and they can't escape since the cart's horses have fainted out of fear. The children think they can fight the troll using their magic if they work together. However, when the troll king arrives, they get scared and realize they're no match for it. Despite that, Kaito jumps out of the cart to fight the monster. He attacks the monster with a fireball, but it doesn't damage the monster, while he has already exhausted his mana. Suddenly, a huge fire burns the troll and turns it into ashes. They are surprised by what happened. Arl steps forward, saying he should have held back a little. Kaito asks if Arl can really use magic, while the girls realize that the spell was an advanced spell used by a mage class. The driver thanks him for saving his carriage once again, but Arl says that he wants to see what he can do next time. Kaito apologizes for being rude earlier and calls him master. Although he refuses, he isn't a master. Kaito wants to be his disciple. The girls say his classless document is fake, and he's hiding his real identity, but he again says that he genuinely is classless. The driver then says they need to continue their journey. Soon they arrive in the city of magic, Arzbal. Arl comments that it's every bit as interesting as his father said. As they walk to the city, Kaito follows Arl, telling him facts about the city, which makes the girls worry that he is acting like a loyal dog and wonder if Arl has cast a spell on him. Kaito asks if he'll take the entrance exam for red magic, which surprises him because he doesn't know the academy is divided based on magic. Kaito explains that every type of magic has its own scripts and vocabulary. Arl hopes that the academy won't reject him as the guilds in Brescia did. Then the four of them split into pairs to proceed ahead. When Arl submits his application, the receptionist asks if it's all correct. After he says yes, the lady stamps it and hands him an examination number. He wonders if being classless will be a problem, and she explains that everyone has the right to take the test regardless of class, and he already likes this place more than Brescia. At the testing ground, a boy shoots a fireball at a metal knight and passes the test. Then an arrogant boy mocks everyone for using a fireball. The examiner is surprised because the boy is already in an advanced mage class, which is very rare, and he can be assigned to the elite course right away. The boy asks if he can destroy the target doll, and when the examiner says it's fine, he uses a powerful eruption spell to create a fire pillar to cover the target in flames. Suddenly, Kaito says that he's nothing compared to his master. The boy asks if he's saying that his master is on the same level as him, but Kaito says Arl's is even stronger. Errol hits him to stop him from speaking. The boy states that nobody here can reach his level who can melt metal as he did, but Errol tells him to turn around since he didn't melt it. The examiner explains that the target is made of mithril and won't melt so easily. When Errol's turn arrives, the boy eagerly watches. Errol is nervous since it is his first time casting magic on mithril, but he focuses and uses eruption to fire a beam at the target. The boy immediately calls him a loser, but suddenly the target melts. The boy accuses him of cheating since eruption can't melt mithril. He agrees and explains that it wasn't a proper eruption spell but a technique he himself created, leaving him speechless. Then he simply walks away to the next testing site. At the Blue Magic School, he congratulates the blue-haired girl, Kufa, on passing. She is surprised to see him here. When his turn comes, he uses ice spikes to destroy another mithril knight, and then heads to the Green Magic School. On his way, he finds Colette crying and asks what's wrong. She reveals that she's nervous even to register for the test, and asks him how he deals when he gets nervous, but he says he's never been nervous. She says she's afraid that she's going to screw up. He asks if she has ever failed once in her life, but she replies that she is too afraid of messing up so she doesn't do anything. He says that he messes up and loses all the time and nobody achieves anything without failing at least once. She realizes he's right. If she fails the test, her life is not going to end and she can try again. He then asks what the practical test involves, and she says they just need to use magic to spin a windmill. Once they're inside, he casts a tornado spell to destroy the windmill. The examiner declares that he has passed. Next turn is Colette's, but she is still nervous. When she recalls Arl's advice, she gathers her strength and steps ahead. Meanwhile, Arl visits the remaining schools and passes every exam. Finally, when he enters the Black Magic School, he hears a noise coming from a box. Suddenly, a woman arrives and asks if he has seen Gooey. After he points to the box, she immediately checks it and finds Gooey, a baby chimera demon she created herself. Just then, a skeleton appears behind him and welcomes him to the school. He immediately chops its head off, thinking it is a monster. However, the skeleton turns out to be an office clerk named Latalia. He asks how to register for the entrance exam, but she reveals there is no exam since they don't have many students who want to learn black magic, so anyone is automatically accepted. Later he walks through the campus when Kaito and the girls stop him. They ask which school he plans to attend and suggest their schools. To their surprise, he reveals he's not going to pick one since he plans to attend all 6 schools, which shocks them. Arl gets accepted into all 6 schools and receives the necessary IDs and paperwork from them all. At first he thinks there won't be any problems but reads that his classes overlap with one another. Even so, he isn't too worried since only 20% attendance is required. He asks them if they can share their class notes with him and they happily agree. However, they wonder how he plans to keep up with the other 3 schools. He explains that he has to focus on yellow and white schools because the black school doesn't have any classes. Kufa and Colette still think managing 6 schools at once will be difficult. Meanwhile, Kaito is excited to attend his first class. Arl begins by accompanying Kaito to the red school. As they head to their seats, the blonde-haired boy from the exam stops them. He still refuses to believe that an inferior spellcaster could defeat him, but Arl replies that he's not a spellcaster. The boy immediately assumes that he must be a mage instead, but he clarifies that he's not a mage either. Just then, their teacher enters the classroom. The boy introduces himself as Royce and asks what Arl's class is. The teacher reveals that he's classless, which leaves him horrified that he lost to a classless guy. As the lesson begins, Arl realizes that the teacher is teaching concepts he already knows. The teacher clarifies that many students cast magic through their class skills without fully understanding their spell scripts, but learning the scripts allows them to cast spells more efficiently and reduces the strain on their bodies. He also explains that advanced spellcasters can rearrange the script to create stronger versions of existing spells. Kaito points out that Arl already does that regularly. After attending several classes, Arl notes that none of them have taught him anything new. However, he becomes interested in the Green School since they have to start with flight magic. Colette is surprised that he has never learned how to fly. In a flashback, Arl wants to try flying, but Leon immediately refuses because he's terrified of heights. Back in the present, the instructor tells the students to imagine themselves as birds and spread their arms while lifting off the ground. Arl struggles because he doesn't know the proper spell. He notices that Colette manages to float in the air for a moment before crashing back down. The other students make fun of her. Despite that, she says she's not afraid of making mistakes and prepares to try again. Her words inspire him, and he attempts to fly using a tornado spell beneath his feet, but it fails instantly, and he crashes into the ground. A boy approaches and calls both of them failures, telling them to watch him as he easily flies and lands. He reveals that he only focused on flying magic after becoming a spellcaster and has won many races. When Arl asks about races, Colette explains that they're competitions where they fly around a course to see who is fastest. Arl decides he'll learn to fly before the next race. The boy laughs and points out that the next race is only 2 months away and it usually takes 6 months just to learn how to fly. Arl is confident that 2 months will be enough for him. A few nights later, Kaito, Kufa and Colette return to school because Colette forgot something in her classroom. Kaito asks why they asked him to come, so Kufa explains that there are rumors about a ghost appearing around the academy grounds every night. The moment she mentions ghosts, he covers his ear in fear, which makes her recall that he used to go to the bathroom alone, but he argues that she's the one hiding behind Colette. Suddenly, they all get scared seeing a mysterious figure entering through a window. As Colette screams, the figure covers her mouth and tells them to stay quiet. Then he removes his hood. It's Arl. Colette asks what he's doing here so late, and he explains that he has been secretly practicing flight magic every night so he can compete in the race. Kufa realizes there was never any ghost at all. Kaito asks why he's pushing himself so hard. He says he gets plenty of rest, and then he reveals that doing nothing while sleeping is such a waste of time, so he trained himself to practice magic while asleep and recover his mana at the same time. Kufa argues that he's not resting at all, but he still recommends it. Kaito admits he thought getting accepted into magic school was enough, but now he realizes he needs to work harder. Ariel first advises him to overcome his fear of ghosts. Kufa and Colette are amazed by how much effort Arl puts into everything, and they decide to train harder themselves. Later, as they say goodbye to each other, he wonders what he can do now. He then heads to the Black School and meets Latalia. He asks if he can access the library. She hands him a library card and asks what he wants to read. He replies that he plans to read all the books available because he can't read them at home. The next morning, during class, Arl interrupts the teacher and points out a mistake in the script written on the board, and the teacher realizes Arl is correct. Kaito is amazed that Arl has memorized spell scripts, but he admits not all of them, and that he has created shorter versions of some of the longer spells. The teacher then asks him to write one of his revised scripts on the board. Arl writes his version of the spell currently being taught. The teacher finds it interesting, though he points out that it could explode if something goes wrong. He argues that divine protection would protect him, but the teacher replies that it would still hurt a lot. Arl simply says that at least he would not die. Realizing Arl has a complete understanding of spells, the teacher offers him a promotion exam to allow him to skip the grade. Royce immediately says he'll take the exam as well. The next day, their instructor Bacchus takes them both to a testing area, where several monsters are locked behind the bars. To pass, they have to defeat them with magic without getting injured. Royce volunteers to go first. When the gate opens, a minotaur charges directly at him. He fires an explosion spell but misses completely. Arl notices that Royce's magic is stronger than it was during the entrance exam, and Bacchus explains it's because of his advanced class. He also points out that eruption is designed for fixed targets and isn't suitable for a moving opponent. Royce continues attacking yet fails to hit the beast. The monster is about to strike him when it disappears. Bacchus explains that it's still a school and they can't let students get injured. Royce is disappointed that he wasn't able to hit it, but Bacchus praises him for coming this far. Royce realizes that he was trying to teach him the limits of his current abilities. He vows to become stronger through proper training. Then, he tells Arl to go to the next lane and that he will face the same monster. However, when the gate opens, a much larger and darker monster comes out. Even Bacchus is confused. Then a staff member rushes over and reveals that a superior minotaur was accidentally placed in for the test. As the monster charges, Arl creates 2 flame spears, but the beast jumps over them. Bacchus points out that the monster might be able to break through the lane's safety measures. He tells Arl to retreat, but Arl is confident he can beat it. Bacchus says that it can dodge the upcoming attacks. Suddenly, his flame spears change direction and strike it from behind. Bacchus is amazed. Arl follows up with an eruption spell to burn it. Bacchus explains that superior minotaurs are normally used against elite students, and it is unbelievable that Arl managed to defeat it. He also admits that Arl's magic is powerful for someone who is classless. When he comes out, Bacchus tells him that he has passed the exam and can attend 2nd grade class from the next day. Later, he meets up with his friends, and Kaito is bragging about Arl while he's thinking something. Colette asks him what he's thinking about. Arl replies that he wants to take promotion exams in all the schools. Kufa says that when it comes to him, it's best to expect the unexpected. Back at Arl's home, Reiner is learning how to cook fish, but in the process she burns her hands. Farah tells her to put ice on it, but she says it's fine and it's just a little injury. Farah praises her for not giving up, much like Arl does. However, Mira argues that Reiner is not as hardworking as her brother. Reiner agrees because Arl pushes himself through intense training every day. Meanwhile, at the Blue Magic School, Arl asks instructor Hengel if he can take a promotion exam. She initially refuses but adds she might consider it if he starts attending her classes properly. But he explains that he wants the promotion so he can skip unnecessary classes, which makes her furious. When he claims her classes are below his current level, she challenges him to show how skilled he is. Kufa doesn't think provoking a teacher is smart, since Hengel is only 1 step away from becoming an archmage. Hengel then explains the rules of their duel: no physical attacks, and he can weaken her only using magic. He asks if he wins, she'll allow him to take the promotion exam, but she replies that he has no chance and calls him overconfident. The duel begins with her unleashing an ice storm to cover him completely in ice. She comments that he can't even avoid her opening attack, and tells Kufa that mock battles are often decided by whoever lands the first powerful spell. Suddenly, Arl breaks through the ice, unharmed. She realizes that he reacted quickly and protected himself with an ice shield before her surprise attack. Then he creates multiple ice spikes. She immediately asks if he seriously wants to start with a basic skill. Yet seeing the large number of spikes, she admits it's not bad for a first-year student since newbies like Kufa can hardly create 2 at once. She also responds by creating ice spikes. Both attack simultaneously and cancel each other out. She remembers seeing him use the same spell during the entrance exam and reveals that ice spikes are her specialty and that he can't win with that spell. In response, he creates twice as many spikes as before, but she can easily match him. Meanwhile, Kufa begins panicking at the scene. Then he surrounds Hengel with countless spikes from all directions, leaving her shocked that he can control such a complicated spell to make them point at a single spot. She quickly creates an ice shield to defend herself. However, she struggles to keep it up because every spike is equally destructive, so she begins to absorb mana from the incoming spikes to strengthen her shield. He then creates a big ice spike over the opening in her shield, but because she is trapped, she can't escape. She tries to counter it with another shield, but the spike breaks through it. She can hardly believe she lost to a student. After the duel, he meets with his friends. Kufa reveals that he passed and moves to the next grade. Next, he heads to the Green Magic School to do the same. Unfortunately, he learns that this school's rules are different and students must get the headmaster's permission to take the promotion exam. The teacher also tells him that the headmaster is far too busy to meet even a single student. She also warns him not to cause trouble because he might get expelled. He says he wants to master magic as quickly as possible so that he can keep up with someone. When he asks whether he can show his abilities here, she warns him that he will be expelled for showing off. Suddenly, Colette says she has an idea. Soon the group heads to the Green School's training ground for the flight race. Arl thanks Colette for the advice, as he can meet the headmaster if he wins the race. In a brief flashback, she mentions the upcoming race and the benefits if he wins. Although the teacher warns them that it is dangerous as there are over 300 participants, he remains completely confident that he will win. As he gets ready for the race, the green-haired boy approaches him and calls him a crappy green magic user, but Arl doesn't know who he is. He says, then introduces himself as Skyke, a master of flight magic, and declares he will win the race. He asks why he's even here since he couldn't even fly the other day. From the audience, Kaido shouts encouragement and tells Arl to defeat him as Skyke walks away. Soon, an announcer riding a broom welcomes everyone to the semester's Archmage race. He explains that the course requires the racers to fly through the City of Magic's main gate, take a lap around the perimeter, and return to the starting point. He also welcomes the special guests, the school's headmaster and instructor Dumble, who will be the commentators. Many of the girls in the audience begin cheering for the dashing Dumble. Then the announcer tells all the racers to be ready at the starting line, and the race begins. As the racers start flying, some collide, thinning the competition. One unlucky participant even crashes into the boundary wall after flying too low. Early in the race, a girl known as the soaring goddess Dione takes the lead, while Arl and Shake are flying behind her. Shake asks how Arl is keeping up with the front runners. He replies that everyone's moving slowly and explains that since it's a long race, using maximum speed from the start makes no sense. The front runners soon reach the city's main gate. The announcer calls it a tricky spot because they have to take a sharp left after passing the gate, which causes a few of them to fall into the water. Skyke easily makes the turn and assumes he left Arl behind, but to his surprise, Arl is still flying right beside him. As the racers pass the red school and reach the yellow one, Dione extends her lead. Even so, Arl and Skyke remain close behind. Dione is shocked that two first years are keeping up with her, so she increases her speed. Skyke tries to follow but quickly runs out of mana. Even Dumble praises him for making it this far in his first race. Meanwhile, Arl catches up to Dione, but she again accelerates, which worries Arl since he can't go any faster than this. So he uses his secret weapon skill to match her speed. The commentators are shocked to see his sudden boost in speed. Dumble analyzes that Arl is creating concentrated pockets of air beneath his feet to jump on them to propel himself forward. He notes that this technique requires incredible leg strength, something only a supreme class swordsman has. Arl praises him for the explanation and reveals that this is a sky swordsman skill called Soar. As the two head towards the main entrance, the announcer grows nervous, as they have to make a sharp turn to pass through the gate. Since neither of them seems to slow down, it can be dangerous for them. Eventually, Dione reduces her speed to stay safe, but the announcer worries about whether Arl can keep up his current speed. However, he uses the same technique to steer himself with his arms and continues to lead the race. Moments later, Arl crosses the finish line and wins the race. The crowd erupts into applause. Kufa remarks that it doesn't look like he's classless. Dione approaches and congratulates him on the win, though she adds he won't beat her next time. Skiak finishes in third place before collapsing from exhaustion. Later, the headmaster presents Arl with a certificate and a medal. After accepting them, Arl immediately asks him for permission to take the promotion exam. Impressed by his performance, the headmaster agrees and grants his request. He adds that he's looking forward to seeing what more he can do. Arl is happy that he is now in second grade at the Red, Blue, and Green Magic School, and he has to pass 3 more schools. When Arl visits the Yellow Magic School, he learns that he missed the registration deadline for the assembly that could allow him to skip a grade. As a result, he has to wait until the next assembly. He asks if there's anything else he can do and mentions that he has created a new type of golem. Suddenly, a man enters the room and asks what's going on. Errol says that he has created a new type of golem but forgot to register for the assembly. The man immediately offers him a position as his research assistant, so he can take part in the assembly, and Arl quickly accepts. Once the man leaves, the receptionist reveals that he has just become the assistant of Instructor Rogwell, the expert in controlling golems. Arl asks if that's a problem, and she explains that Rogwell has a habit of selecting students as opponents and crushes them publicly. In other words, Arl has likely been chosen as his opponent. Even so, he refuses to give up since that is the only way to enter the assembly. When the day of the assembly arrives, many instructors demonstrate their earth magic skills. Finally, Rogwell's turn comes. The audience begins whispering about which unfortunate student will be his latest victim. Rogwell summons several powerful earth golems and tells Arl to do the same. To everyone's surprise, Arl calls his golem Alpha, a red humanoid structure that resembles a robot. Arl explains that he created Alpha's parts using alchemy magic and uses earth magic to control it. Rogwell assumes he's joking since metal is too heavy to move with earth magic and believes there is a human inside it. But when he removes its head, it's completely empty. Rogwell then claims that its lightweight body won't make any difference, and declares that his own golems will crush it. As the golem battle begins, one of Rogwell's golem charges forward and throws a punch, but Alpha easily blocks it, causing its arm to shatter, leaving Rogwell stunned. Then Rogwell enhances his golems with maximum toughness, repairs the damaged golem and orders all of them to attack together. He boasts that his greatest strength is his enormous mana reserve, which allows him to control multiple golems at once. Seeing multiple targets, he creates 2 swords for Alpha. Rogwell thinks it's a foolish move. Instead, Alpha slices through every earth golem easily. Rogwell is horrified and calls it impossible since a golem can't do complex movements. He explains that Alpha isn't a normal golem, and its flexible joints allow him to control it with magic, and combined with its materials, it far surpasses the abilities of older ones. He also asks if the demonstration makes him eligible for a promotion exam, but Rogwell refuses, explaining that assistants aren't eligible. However, if he joins his golem laboratory, he will recommend him for promotion. Next, Arl heads to the White School. There he meets Kaidi, a blind examiner responsible for testing his skills. She explains that she can sense the magical energy from everything around her. When she examines his mana, she is shocked to see endless mana reserves mixed with multiple types of magical energy. By all logic, such a person shouldn't even be alive. Yet Arl appears perfectly normal. Then they travel to an underground cave haunted by undead creatures. After entering, he creates a light source. She warns him that the demons will be drawn to it immediately, but he moves ahead, destroying them using the Holy Ray spell. He then asks her where the actual examination site is located. She informs him that defeating the undead attack was the exam and he has already passed. When they turn around, a sinister creature appears that can speak. Before it can introduce itself, Arl attacks it with Holy Ray. But the demon survives and says that he can't be defeated with this level of magic. So Arl uses the Holy Cross to destroy it and continue walking. Though she is surprised because the monster was an advanced undead, he replies that it was little different from the others since it could talk. She also points out that the Holy Cross he casted was an advanced level, but he says it was just a basic spell. Later, in the Black Magic School library, he finishes another book and wonders why the school doesn't have a promotion exam. Looking around, he doesn't see many students and notices a mysterious closed door. Curious, he asks Latalia about it. She explains that the room is used for testing black magic spells since such magic can't be performed outside, like the other schools. He then enters the room with a pile of books. Among them is a strange book with no title or author written on it. The moment he opens it, a blinding light fills the room. A demon appears from the book and thanks him for freeing him. The demon explains that he has been trapped for ages, waiting for someone to touch the book. As a reward, he offers Arl the honor of becoming his sacrifice, so he can return to the demon realm. Naturally, Arl refuses. The demon attacks, and Arl defends himself and tries to cast an explosion spell, but fails since the demon has already cast a barrier beneath Arl that blocks all kinds of magic. So Arl simply charges forward and chops his head using his wand, but realizes he is immortal like Latalia. While the demon can't believe that he used a magic wand as a weapon and assumes he's a magic swordsman, but Arl says he's classless and starts attacking him rapidly, causing the demon to start shrinking in size. Eventually, the demon is reduced to the size of a rat, begging him to stop. Arl then makes him his familiar by making a seal that will burn him if he refuses to obey orders. When Latalia approaches him, Arl proudly introduces his new familiar. Later, Arl meets up with Kaido, Kufa, and Colette. They congratulate him on getting promotions in all the schools. They're also intrigued by his demon familiar and call him a pet, which offends him. Arl doesn't see a problem with it, and orders him to get them bread for lunch. But the demon says his name is Mastima, and he won't do any chores. The seal quickly hurts him until he says yes. 6 months later, the heads of all 6 schools gather for a budget meeting. The institute manager distributes the proposed budget for the next year. Blag, head of the Black Magic School, immediately objects because his school's budget has been reduced, but the manager argues it's still too high considering the school's low student population. Blag says there is no way any research can be done with that amount. Wido, head of the White School, says that black magic is a dangerous art and that the school must be closed, while Redora, head of the Red School, agrees that nothing good ever happens in it. The manager cuts them off, tells them not to discuss this matter right now, and asks if they have any other objections. When they say no, the manager says that the new rules will be finalized after the result of the 6 institutes' magic contest. Once the meeting ends, the other heads leave, but Blag is still furious. So the manager says that if the black school wins, the committee may reconsider the budget reduction. Meanwhile, Arl says he has never heard of the magic festival. His friends are shocked that he doesn't know about it. Even so, he knows about the magic contest, where all 6 schools compete against one another, and reveals that he's participating in it. The only problem is deciding which school he will represent. He notes he has a meeting with the headmasters tomorrow, and expects to learn more then. That night, in the Black Magic School, Blag prepares a summoning spell and a monster emerges from the demon realm. Blag believes he is successful, but the monster consumes him alive. The next morning, the summoned demon continues consuming other demons present in the room. Meanwhile, Mastema wakes Arl up. Arl mentions that he had a dream about everything he had experienced since he got here. Next, the headmasters, except Blag, gather at the Green School to choose representatives for the rookie battle during the contest. They all claim to have selected the perfect candidate to represent their school. When Arl arrives, every single headmaster has chosen him. Before they can discuss further, they hear an explosion nearby, followed by screams. At the main grounds, students are busy preparing for the festival when the monster climbs through the wall. Immediately, the students panic and start running away. The teachers and Arl rush toward the scene. Royce attacks the monster with a fire spell, but it absorbs it and tries to grab him with its tentacles, but Dione saves him just in time. The monster continues rushing forward. As Colette tries to escape, she trips and falls. Kaito and Kufa try to fight the monster to buy her time. Kufa creates an ice shield, but it breaks through it while Kaito launches a fire spell, but it dodges it easily. At that moment, Colette recalls Errol's motivating words and gathers her strength to attack with wind magic, but the spell does not affect the monster. Just as the monster's tentacles reach her, Errol arrives and slices them. The headmasters also join him and order the students to get to safety and tell Errol to stay back. As supreme class magicians, protecting the academy is their responsibility. Redora thinks the monster has magic resistance, but Bluna points out that the students had cast the earlier spells and attacks the creature using ice magic, but it breaks through it. Then Redora and Gren combine their magic in an attack, yet they still fail to damage it. Gren realizes that the monster is feeding on magical energy. Before the monster can attack, Yellowa traps it inside the earth walls. Unfortunately, the walls can't hold it much longer. They all discuss various strategies, but nothing will work since it may absorb them all. Noticing them, Arl reflects that every spell they use is something he already knows from Leon's teaching or from the Academy's books, and there is nothing left for him to learn here. Mastema says that he never thought he would see a gluttony slime outside the demon realm. He reveals that the slime absorbs mana from everything and grows in size. Then he calls them fools for using magic to fight it. Errol asks whether it can handle physical attacks delivered faster than it can process them, but he doubts it will work since it would eat anything. Still, he decides to use a sword since it would be best to use a proper sword to fight that slime, which offends Mastema since he used a wand to fight him. Meanwhile, the demon continues advancing toward the city, and the headmasters wonder whether they should abandon the city and focus on evacuation. Suddenly, Arl charges at it from above and slices through the slime, but it can't damage him much. The headmasters are shocked to see Arl using a sword and assume he's a magic swordsman. He quickly reminds them that he's classless and tells them to leave since the monster feeds on mana. Gren quickly realizes that the slime is heading toward the city hall to feed on gathered students' mana. Arl then uses Infinite Break to cut it into pieces, and he thinks he can slow it down while they save everyone. The pieces merge back to the main body and continue moving. When Mastema cheers for the slime, Arl decides to feed him to the creatures, but the slime ignores them, so he creates a massive stone wall to trap it. Then he summons 4 metallic golems and attacks using quintuple Infinite Break. The headmasters can't believe that Arl is a master swordsman, can use multiple types of magic, and even has a demon familiar. None of them can figure out who he actually is. Even after the dangerous attack, the slime begins regenerating, but Arl refuses to give up and decides to use a spell that the monster cannot absorb. Mastema mocks him, saying it wouldn't work. Ignoring him, Arl creates all 6 kinds of magic circles and combines them into one. A flashback reveals Lean once teaching him about a legendary spell that uses all 6 magical attributes simultaneously, but warned that even a minor mistake can destroy the area. As Arl struggles to maintain the spell, the students and headmasters lend him their mana. and using all the combined energy, he finally attacks the monster. Mastima is shocked that Arl's attack wiped out the area along with the slime. Then Arl and the headmasters inspect the destroyed area. Gren explains that the spell Arl used is a legendary spell that only a rare Magalord class magician can use. The others accuse Arl of lying about both his age and class, but he replies that he is classless and his father is a Magalord. Redora asks if he is Leon's son and reveals they were classmates years ago before he left the school during his second year. The other headmasters also remember him. Arl explains that his father personally taught him every branch of magic, which makes them realize that to become a Magalord, a person must know all 6 magical attributes. Then Arl picks up a tiny surviving piece of slime, but instead of killing it, he makes it his familiar. Later, back in his room, he feeds the slime trash. Mastima wonders why it seems so attached to him, despite everything that happened. Arl suggests that slimes don't feel pain and may have treated the battle as a game. Just then, his friends visit him and ask why he's leaving the academy. He explains that there's nothing else that he can learn here, which upsets them. He will go home first, and after that he'll travel to the city of monsters to learn more about his new familiar. Wob Wob, they call it cute and say that it looks similar to the giant monster that attacked the city. Arl simply calls it a coincidence. Meanwhile, the academy manager is furious that the headmasters are allowing Errol to leave, but they couldn't stop him. However, thanks to Arl, they now understand the path to becoming a Magalord and can raise new ones. They are also shocked to see Blag alive, but he explains that only his physical body was consumed by the slime, and he suggests that all 6 institutes help each other. Finally, Kaido, Kufa, and Colette say goodbye to Arl. He uses the same glowing bird spell that Leon used long ago and leaves the city, while a hooded woman watches him from behind a pillar. In a big castle, a female knight reports that one of their spies has seen Arl leaving the city of magic. Upon hearing this, the ruler orders the knight to bring him here as she's excited to meet him. Meanwhile, Arl continues his journey home. Mastima wonders what Arl's parents are like. He replies that they are ordinary villagers, and Mastima asks if they are classless too, but he reveals that his mother is a sword god and his father a Magalord. As they fly above a village, he decides to stay there for the night. To relax, he visits a hot spring. While bathing, a girl enters and asks if she could join him. He agrees, recalling that this place allows mixed bathing. She then begins asking questions about him. He politely continues to reply to her. Mastima suddenly says that she's not a normal girl. When she asks his purpose of visit, he explains he just wants to discover how strong he can become despite being classless. She then invites him to visit her home, the Empire, where the people won't make fun of him because of his class since their queen has banned that behavior, but he refuses her offer because he doesn't have any problems if people make fun of him and he has somewhere else to go. Leaves the bath. Later during dinner, Mastima asks if turning down her offer is a good idea since the Empire sounds like a good place and he could also free him after that. But he ignores it and enjoys his meal instead. The next morning, he takes a walk around the village and runs into the girl from last night. She introduces herself as Shinobi Princess Kuriha, one of the Empire's 8 imperial generals, and by order of the Empress, she asks him to accompany her. He immediately refuses and asks why the Empress is interested in him. She explains that the Empress has been searching for him for years. Even so, Arl declines again. She immediately attacks him, but Arl vanishes in time and says that if she wants a fight, he won't show mercy and kicks her. He even senses 10 people hiding around and tells them to show themselves. Several hooded figures with a paper covering their faces. One of them uncovers her face and asks Kuriha if she's alright. Arl notices that her divine protection is still intact and that she's the strongest among them. She orders the group to capture him. At the same time, another group of female warriors rushes to the village in order to capture Arl for their queen. To their shock, they find Kuriha's group defeated and ask how many people they are up against. The injured girl says it was only one classless. Arl watches them from behind a tree while eating a rice ball. Mastima suggests they should leave, but he comes out of hiding and steps out in the open. One of them introduces himself as Dragon Princess Dora, another of the 8 generals. She orders Arl to accompany her while another warrior, Tigra, says she'll defeat him. Arl simply asks them to attack him with their best skill because he wants to see it. Tigra charges forward while Dora tells her dragon to attack, but soon they're defeated as well, which makes him a little disappointed that none of them proved to be challenging. Anyway, he also wants to know why this Empress wants to meet him. Kuriha wakes up and says that Arl is still no match for the Empress before passing out again. Her statement makes him curious, and he decides to visit the Empire. Soon he arrives at the castle. More female warriors come to fight him. One by one, they introduce themselves as the 8 imperial generals, Rihanna, Fina, Igbergia, and Kinna. He warns them that he won't go easy on them. Meanwhile, the knight informs the Empress that Arl should be here soon. Suddenly, Rihanna and Igbergia enter the court and collapse. Errol walks in behind them. He admits that he expected more from warriors with such impressive titles. Finally, he asks the Empress why she wanted to meet him. Suddenly, she hugs him and it is revealed to be his annoying big sister, Asti. After everyone settles, he asks why she is acting like an empress. She explains that she founded her own country without class discrimination, as she once promised him to make a better place for him, and tells him that she will soon send for her family so they can live here. But he says there's no need for that. She says that she really worked hard to make this happen. He thanks her for everything she's done, but there are things he wants to do, and he can't do them if he stays here. He explains that he wants to spend his life learning new skills and that while traveling, he likes meeting different types of people, and each of them has their own ideas and goals, and he intends to keep moving freely. She says that it is fine and he can do what he wants. He then says goodbye to her and promises to visit again. However, she says that if Arl wants to follow his own desires, she'll follow hers as well. She then activates her ultimate skill, Heaven's Will, and commands him to stop. He immediately freezes in his place. She then says that she has been waiting for this day and orders him to marry her, leaving everyone shocked. She then rushes to kiss him. Instead, Arl kicks her away. She wonders why her skill isn't working on him. He explains that when she used this skill on him, he realized it is not a magical spell, and for Heaven's Will to work, the subject has to hear her voice, so he secretly used wind magic to cover his ears. He also points out that she cannot give multiple orders at the same time. She begins crying. He asks whether she used this skill to force the 8 generals to follow her orders, but the generals immediately refuse and explain they are deeply moved by Her Majesty's will and willingly choose to follow her to the end. He is happy that his sister has grown up and says goodbye to her before leaving. She then says that love between siblings is eternal and promises to wait for him to come back stronger, which clearly disappoints her generals. The next day, he finally returns home and says he has gotten stronger. Farah immediately hugs him and says she doesn't care where he's going, as long as he comes back safely. Mira then hugs him and tells him to stay home this time. Mastima is surprised by how normal Errol's family is. Mira grabs the demon and asks if she can keep him. He also gives her Wobwob to play with them both. He then mentions that he met Asti on his way here and she's doing well, while Reiner is happy to see him. That night, he is in his room writing. Reiner enters and wants to know everything about the City of Magic. He replies that he wants to hear what she has been doing first. She says that she thought he wasn't interested in her, but he explains he's curious to know how much stronger she became while training under his mother. She then asks him to tell everything about his journey, so he begins from the start. The next day, Mira is once again in tears, holding a note from Arl that he left again, but the others know this will happen. Then Arl flies over the village. Meanwhile, Dragon Fang is thriving in Brezia with new recruits, and Lilia couldn't be happier. Elsewhere, Kaido, Kufa, and Colette enjoy their lunch together. The headmasters of all 6 magic schools gather for another meeting, while the carriage driver looks up as Arl flies above him. Errol's journey continues with a new adventure waiting ahead. That's all for today. If you want the next part, comment next part. We'll make it once this video hits 10,000 likes. Also, tell us which character you like the most in the comments, and thanks for watching. You guys are the best.